And hey, just like that, we are back with part 4. So this is pretty well dried over the afternoon. I did grab a little paint thinner, strip some of this off on the top here where I had stained and painted before. We're going to roll over that with blue, and I am going to go with this metallic type blue. Got some sparklies in it. I'm going to thin it down a little bit. And then also apply that with a nice stiff brush. So there's a little bit of flex on the tip of this, but for the most part, I'm going to be a little bit more specific with this versus just kind of washing it with the old cotton sock and see if we can get crisper lines on this. I'm going to paint the whole back of the stock blue, and then I have these little crafting stamps that we'll use to have some uniform stars applied to the back. Still haven't decided if I want to go in a line similar to that Savage, or perhaps we'll do a circle kind of as a tribute to the Betsy Ross 13-star flag. And again, this series is the One Shot. Kind of a play on words since it is a single shot Savage 22 long rifle. And this one was left outside in the weather for a while. The stock was all weathered, and if I hadn't given it a shot at restoration, there's a good likelihood the thing would have just been scrapped. So kind of some dual meanings, and we did throw the year on here, so hopefully when I am long dead and in the dirt, somebody else will appreciate this thing. Well, on with the show. Like I said, we're going to start out with this. We still have a little bit of the walnut media stuck underneath the cap here from our experiment of getting the paint shaken using the vibration tumbler with the corncob media. Oh, still got some garbage up there. Yeah, not the greatest move. Got some crud in our stuff. Darn it. Let me try clearing that off a second. Okay, well, maybe this one will be the textured metallic blue series. Cleaned the stuff up, wiped off the cap. We did still have a few chunkies in here. Let's toss a little paint in the cup. See what this looks like. Used a little bit more blue. Look at that, nice little metallic shine to it. Just start laying it on, see what it looks like. Have a little shimmer to it. Get a nice clean cut edge here. Can always fill in the red and the white colors later. Drag that back. And again, because of the metallic, I'm not really cutting this stuff. I'm going to kind of leave that full strength, but just drag it thin so we can get a little bit of the wood grain still pop through. And I'm going to try, since this is a oil-based, try to hustle through this side so I can keep the leading edge wet Again, with the dry wood stock, it's going to try sucking that paint in. So I'm imagining I'm going to have to hustle. Again, trying to keep this edge wet. Keep the colors uniform. Of course, I'm going with the grain. So any horizontal striping that we might get from color differences will most likely be blurred in our vision due to the wood grain underneath. And we can always put multiple coats on this as well. Again, it's dry wood, oil-based paint. Paint is going to soak into the wood, and that's what we want. Get it in there like a stain, preserve it, and become part of the stock. Again, trying to keep a nice crisp line here at the beginning. And for all of you artists and painters out there, I am not much of an artist. Not much of a painter. I've painted some houses, spray painted some demolition derby cars, but otherwise I'm a fairly proficient plumber. Marginal YouTube creator, but I do have a lot of ideas. Most people will say the ideas are all bad and horrible, but at least they're ideas. Bob Ross, I am clearly not. This may end up taking 2, maybe 3 coats. We'll see. Well, I think you get the idea how it's laying down, how this brush is working. And it's not like there's any super secret technique that we are revealing here. So I will hit pause, keep rolling with this stock, and then when we come back, we'll see if I've totally destroyed it or if it looks somewhat like we envisioned. All right, well, I'm getting closer. Got one side pretty much done. Working it all the way around to the other side. Then we'll come back in, kind of fill in a few spots that might be a little on the thin side. But for the most part, yeah, just working fast so the paint does not become clumpy. Again, kind of keeping all my brush strokes going with the grain. Try to make it look naturalish. Again, since this is a metallic paint, this probably would have been better off being sprayed to get the best visual effect out of the metallic in the paint. But I like doing things differently. Not necessarily saying it's better or worse, it's definitely different. And now it's just basically dragging another coat, another wet coat over the first coat that is starting to harden up. And the beauty part of this is if we don't like it at the end, I can always hit it with that Scotch-Brite pad and give it that aged, weathered look. Since this is on a lot thicker than the red and the white, that might also be a nice touch to do also. But we'll see how this turns out. So for everybody watching, I appreciate you tuning in to watch paint dry. And if there's any of my old art teachers still alive and happen to run across this, let me apologize for sleeping in class. Promise to do better in my next life. Still have a couple little chunks of that corncob media popping up in the paint. So again, kind of a great idea to shake up the can. Kind of a horrible idea for the aftermath of the junk contaminating my paint. But hey, we did learn that lesson. I'll try doing full brush strokes across here. Again, I'll probably have to fill in a little bit on the leading edge because I had a little bit of red and white stain that I removed. So I don't think the wood is going to soak the blue stain in, or the blue paint in, the same as what it did with the red, with the red and the white. So it's going to be a little weird at the beginning. But again, because it is wood grain, I think that'll be a little bit forgiving on some of my brush strokes, as long as I keep the strokes flowing with the grain of the wood. It should all blend in and be good. And again, we can always smooth some of that stuff out with the Scotch-Brite later. And another little chunk of something. Thought about just spray painting this too, but maybe I'll have to snag another stock. Try that. I did have a channel member donate this plastic stock off one of his Savages, and he has a really nice aftermarket stock on his gun now. So I do have another stock that I could paint up, but I don't have an action to put it in. Either way, we probably better finish the one we have in hand, right? As paint's drying while we're talking. Uploading video number 3 right now, but at these slow upload speeds, we still have, how long do we have? 24% uploaded. So it's going to be another hour or two, I think, before that actually makes it up to the internet for you guys. But again, appreciate everybody subscribing, tuning in, and watching me try to salvage this poor old savage. Yeah, got a little weird spot on the bottom where my lines didn't quite line up, but I think I'm just going to end it that way. Call that good. From the side, doesn't look too bad. Then we'll throw some stripes on this thing. Or we've got the stripes. We'll throw the stars on this thing to accent the stripes. I'll just use up the rest of this paint that I've got here. And the more you screw around with the paint, typically the worse you make it look. So if you get too fussy with it, it can look like you get too fussy with it. Probably should have just dumped the cash for the airbrush. Go check out Bending Ballistics channel. He has been teasing maybe getting into some Cerakoting, showing the steps, the processes, and what all is involved. Of course, he hasn't started that series yet, so I wasn't able to watch it. So here I'm stuck just using a brush and plastic modeling paint, where I could be doing a professional Cerakote job if only I had been subscribed to Bending Ballistics sooner and he had actually produced the video. Oh well. Oh, dripping on my bench. That's what we got paint thinner for. And that paint is starting to tack up, so I think I am nearing the end of this blue. I know part 3 was a really long video. This part 4 video is probably going to be fairly short. At least painting the blue part will. I'll let this set overnight. It's Saturday currently, so part 3 video ought to be loaded up either by late Saturday night on March 1st or early March 2nd. And then we'll see if I can get this paint to dry enough to stick the stars on it, and then try to get part 4 out Monday or possibly Tuesday. We'll see how it goes. I still have the steel barrel to finish cleaning up. So far the bluing's been coming off. I may just end up stripping it all down to the steel. I could just leave the steel natural, put a clear coat on it. It's kind of going to be a silvery look at that point, or I could grab this paint again. What I would probably do with the barrel would be to thin the paint down with a thinner and then wipe the steel barrel with that. So the finish may turn out like some of those $100 revolvers you see on different sites for sale. The ones with the pot metal frames. Okay, that's pretty decent. I think I'm done screwing around with it. Again, this was that metallic blue. I also have a neon blue and another, I'm not sure what the heck that is. It says dark blue, GI or GL dark blue. I don't know. We'll open that up. Possibly see. Again, thought about painting like a little flag down here, or we could do a flag on the forestock, you know, just blue cannon up here and some red and white back this way. I'm not sure. We'll see how this turns out. Thanks for watching this one-shot Savage Salvage. Hey, there's a tongue twister. Say that 4 times. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like cool, well, or if you like videos like this. You can determine whether it's a cool video or not. But either way, it is a hobby, and it is actually probably as interesting as putting model ships or model planes or model cars together. It's just we get practical tools in the end that have unique personalities and characteristics. So, thanks for watching. Till next time, be safe. Hey, and we are back for part 4. F-O-U-R. Time to add some stars. I thought about these peel and stick gold stars and just spray them in with a clear coat. But I think we'll just use the white paint and a stamp. So I've marked off some equal distances around my measuring device here. I'll probably start, I don't know, we can roll the stamp as we go around here. I don't want to get too far one way or the other with the rolls, because then as the left side and the right side, when you look at those things, it's probably going to look a little funky. So I'm going to start out just kind of eyeballing about a 1/4 inch off the back side, maybe 3/8, somewhere in there. Just kind of working my way around. Get over to this side. I'll probably rotate the stamp. Try to keep the points indexed. I don't know if it makes much difference. We'll see. And then instead of filling the cup up with white paint this way, because of the way this little trench is in our solo cup, I'm going to just dump a little bit here on the base, and then I can efficiently use my paint with my stamp. So the blue turned out pretty darn good. It's still shiny metallic. Still, you can hear sticking a little bit on the flooring that I've got here for a bench liner. You can still see some of the wood grain coming through, and that does help blur some of the brush strokes from the paint. Again, this stuff I did not thin. I just put that straight on. And I got a couple little boxes, so as we start going and I get one side done, I can keep the thing up off the table and keep my wet surfaces from sticking. Ooh, I'm just noticing a couple little circles here from my tape. That's interesting. Not sure if that's just making a mark on the soft paint. Not sure. It might have just been some sticky residue. Interesting. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. And we'll flip the camera around this angle, so as I'm working, I'm not going to be blocking off your view. Again, using this kind of a bright white. I'm going to use this paint straight. So I'm not thinning that at all. Throw our guide up here. Double check the space again. Probably that's pretty good. Get a little bit of white on there. Ooh, and it is running. So we got a little too much white on there. Let's get rid of some of that so we don't end up with splotches all over the place. Try that again. That's still pretty darn thick. Maybe I need to saturate a rag and then blot the rag with it. Or, hey, how about this idea? Maybe we try a couple of test stars. Oh yeah, that's going to turn out like crap. So that's why we practice a little bit. Although most of my videos are about as close as you can get to live because I don't like editing. Ew, not a fan of that. Maybe it will be peel and stick stickers. Yeah. I'm clearly screwing up my stamps. Or, I suppose what I could do is a minimal amount of paint and then come back in with a brush, touch those in later. That seems like a crap ton of effort though. Well, maybe that's why we don't scrapbook stamp as a hobby. Okay, well, we'll rethink this. Probably going to end up using the gold stars. That'll look cool anyway. And we just peel and stick them. Lay them in with a clear coat. And done. All right, well, made a little pattern so I can keep both sides symmetrical. That looks pretty decent. And I think I'll use the smaller size stars. Oh, yeah. Grab some reading glasses so I can actually see the small print. knife blade. Maybe I need to go find some tweezers. First one placed in. Yeah, it looks pretty good. We'll keep rolling with it. Okay, well, going down there, sticking on. So let me work my way around the rest of this thing, and we'll see what it looks like when we're done. All right, here we go. Still see a little leftovers here in this paint from that roll of tape. I must have laid that up against there with that paint being too soft. Anyways, I'll press these things down. Can always hit that with a little bit of that. Well, actually, I might even be able to just clean that up. Yeah, that's dulling it. We'll see what it looks like after I clear coat it. Let's hit the other side. Did I get 13 on there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Hey, public school math pays off again. Let's get this other side laid out. And again, yeah, paint. Not such a good idea. It's a good idea, but not such a good result. Get this thing laid out. Get an idea of symmetry with this. Looks like about the same spot. And we'll lay these stars on and be right back. And for the last one. Looks pretty good. We'll press those down. Sweet. All right, well, now we're down to the, let's put it back together. Well, we'll finish the clear coat on everything. Probably let this dry a little bit more because that's still soft. Yeah, I might end up doing something there. Maybe buff that out or wet sand that. We'll see. I'm going to have to let that harden before I can do too much to fix that flat spot. But again, the clear coat will probably take care of that too. All in all, yeah, one shot now has a new finish. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll get this thing into the range here soon. Do some shooting with it, but I still have to finish the cleanup on the bolt and barrel. Figure out if I want to try to re-blue this thing or just take that finish off the barrel, leave everything in the white, as they'll call it. Take the blue off and then just either clear coat or oil it. I don't know. It might almost look decent. Started in with the abrasive pad to take some of this rust off. So that's kind of about what it'll look like versus the heavy pits of rust. But this has got some more cleanup, and hopefully the bore is still decent. I want to try testing this with the 22 shorts, longs, and long rifles. And if that barrel's junk, maybe we'll look at converting this over to a 21 sharp. Turn that into a single shot sharp shooter. Say that 3 times. Until next time, thanks for watching.